Me to the people who criticise me for talking about Millésime Impérial all the time.
I'm sorry if people think I should be moving on from this now, but I really think this is an important topic and I want to get people talking about it.
Jeremy Fragrance's immediate thought after he DMs yet another supermodel on Instagram.
I hope she doesn't even see it, to be quite frank.
And finally, my message to anybody in the professional wrestling community who didn't get emotional about CM Punk recently returning.
That I'm going to ask you to leave our community, leave my community, get out.
I'm the Fragrance Apprentice, and autumn is in 2 days. If you feel as betrayed as I do, because that wasn't really much of a summer, I understand. But as we go into the autumn and fall season, I wanted to give you 5 fragrances just to start with, as a preamble, in a way. These are early recommendations for autumn and fall. This is not a top 5 or top 10 autumn list. No, that will be in the middle of October, and it will be on location, and it will be as beautiful as I can make it for you. But these are just some initial ideas to get the wheels turning. So let's get the obvious one out of the way. It's the one on the thumbnail. It's the one I've been talking about for a little while. This one is Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Parfum. You know, as I wear this more, I'm starting to realise that this is a safer version, in a way, of 1 Million. 1 Million is, of course, very bombastic. It's very charismatic. That bubblegum and cinnamon is very young. It's very powerful, and it can definitely make a statement, either for good or for bad. As I've said many a time, this is a more mature, slower paced 1 Million, if you will. But with that, it gives the advantage that it's actually very good for casual use. If you're just going out and about in the colder months, especially September, October, November, after that I think that you'd have to wear something a little bit beefier to contend with the colder months. But in the mild autumn, this is going to be great, and this is not going to be intrusive. This is not going to be over the top, such as its counterpart 1 Million. This is a great alternative for people who love 1 Million, but as I've said, have either grown up or they want something even more casual, something more steadfast, and arguably, well, not even arguably really, something a lot easier to wear. The second on the list is Vanilla Flash by Andy Towers Towerville. Funny story around this. I actually lost this. Well, I didn't lose it. What happened is that my mum and dad moved house many years ago, and so I put some of the fragrances away in storage. And I knew that they were in storage, but they were so difficult to get to. And every time we'd go into, there were 2 storage blocks, and every time we'd go in, I'd try and find them. In the end, I just had to resign to the knowledge that they were in there somewhere, but there was a lot of stuff, and we didn't know where exactly they would be. 5 years later, everything unpacks. It didn't take them 5 years to move house. It's just that there was, they have a lot of stuff. They have a collector mentality, much as myself. It's where I get it from. And so literally the final box was these fragrances. And when I first bought this, I was 23 years old and I was not ready for it. You know, I just wanted to be in with the cool kids and buy an Andy Tower fragrance because that was a statement piece back in the day of early Fragcom. Oh, I own an Andy Tower. Oh, I own, you know, L'Air Desert Moroccan. I own Rose Flash. I own Vanilla Flash. I own Amber Flash. I own all the different flashes. And so that was quite a statement piece. Now that I'm older, now that I'm, you know, going to be 29 in 1 week, I really get this more. I really appreciate it. It still smells what it initially smelled of to me, and that is like a sandpaper shop, or like a workshop that deals a lot with woods, with sandpaper, with things of that nature. Very harsh, woody, resinous scent, even though you have got the vanilla. But the vanilla is the base, and this woody, sandpapery texture that is really the domineering factor of this fragrance is over and above that. I'm going to be wearing this a lot more in the autumn this year, especially now that I'm older. I think I can get away with it a little bit more. Now that I dress the way that I dress, this more Victorian type of clothing that I sometimes get comments about, I think that this actually would really suit that in a way because it's more rugged, it's more edgier. I definitely would suit wearing this in this attire more than 1 Million Parfum, there's no doubt about that. But I have a great appreciation for it, and if you aren't familiar with Andy Towers' work in general, he's a real niche, and he might become your favourite perfumier because he has such a specific and arguably repetitive way of making fragrances, but if you love it, you love it. Next is this. This is Boss Bottled Intense. Look, there is the caveat, obviously, that this has been discontinued. I think that is pretty certain because it's getting harder and harder to find, but it's not impossible to find right now. This is the end of this year is probably the last time that you will be able to get this. I think it's still on Notino in the UK and available in Europe. You will probably be able to find it somewhere in the US. But yeah, this one is definitely leaving soon, and it's wonderful. It is, what I really like about this is that it is what it says on the tin. Boss Bottled, you know what it is, I know what it is, intense. You've got that lovely warm cinnamon apple, Halloween almost like apple pie kind of thing going on, but you up the spices, you up the woods, you up the vanilla, you just sort of intensify literally everything. I mean, it really is what it says on the tin, and it's wonderful and it's great. So I'm going to definitely wear this probably over the Halloween period and really, really going to enjoy it as well. Now, if you can't get Boss Bottled Intense, I've got you covered, because this is Boss Bottled. It's to me a similar DNA to Boss Bottled, but it's so intense, it's virtually on steroids. It is Anatolia. Is it Strangers or is it Prin? It's Prin. Okay, he has lots of different brands. This is very similar to the Boss Bottled DNA, as in it's got apple, but instead of cinnamon, it's got honey. It's also got suede, it's also got incense, and it's also got oud. If you liked Boss Bottled oud, but you felt as though a bit shortchanged, I want it to be more natural, I want it to be more realistic, check this one out. If you're a Boss Bottled fan and you want like a really kind of crazy niche alternative to it, then I would recommend this all day, every day. It's wonderful, and now that I've actually spelled that all out for you, I don't know which one of these I'm going to be wearing on Halloween, so there we go. This house, I did a review of it very recently with Monoasis, and I've finally got my bottle of Moments by Motif Olfactive. This is a house that just keeps on giving. Chris, Fragmental. I know that I recommended to you a fragrance last year that didn't quite go well. It was Fortitude by Robert Graham, and you gave a very honest review, and you said, it's kind of whatever, it's not what I thought. I'm going to try and do it again, but with this, okay? And I'm going to try and be as realistic as I can, because I want to recommend you a fragrance, and I want you to like it. So, this is kind of like Tobacco Oud by Tom Ford, which I know that you love, right? But it's more wearable, and it's less intense performance-wise. There's some other elements to it. In fact, what I'd say is that this reminds me of Tobacco Oud by Tom Ford and Oud Fleur by Tom Ford. It's like those two fragrances combined, but it's a little bit more resinous. But it's calmer. It's calmer than both. When I first smelled this initially and sampled it, I thought, oh my god, here we go. I'm going to put this on, it's going to blast off me all day. It didn't. In fact, I'd say that the performance was middling. It wasn't beast mode or anything. It was, this is more like the performance on me of a really good designer rather than an outrageous niche fragrance, which surprised me. That really shocked me. But if you like Tobacco Oud and Oud Fleur, but oh man, they're just too much. They're way too intense. And if I can be very, very honest, a more natural version of those two fragrances, because this has a genuine syrupiness, it has a genuine resinous. Tom Ford's can have now limitations with their synthetic elements, which is, it just is what it is. It's tough out there for a G, as Manny would say from Cascade Scents. But if you want those two DNAs, but you want something that's more syrupy, but yet it's more natural, but yet the performance is easier to go with and a little bit more casual to wear, I think you should check this one out. I think you should seriously check this one out. Chris, I know you're going to like this, and to everybody else who thought that sounded cool, you should check this out as well. Get the Discovery set and see what you think. This brand is wonderful. It's really, really a wonderful fragrance house, and so yeah, very good. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe, and if you want to give more, you can contribute to kits, contribute to upcoming videos on upcoming location shoots, etc. You can now donate on PayPal, but that's only if you get value from these videos. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.